Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ebb and Glow podcast. I'm your host, Jenelle Tremblett, and today we are here for a solo episode and some life updates. It is always interesting to me that I named this podcast Ebb and Glow, and the purpose of the whole podcast and mission is to just remind ourselves that life has its ups and downs. Life is not smooth sailing, nor do I want it to be, because when it's smooth sailing, there's no growth, there's no highs, there's no lows. You can't even appreciate the highs versus the lows because it's just a constant and just like I said, smooth sailing. I'm still like sometimes rocked and just surprised when I do have ebbs and flows in life. But I'm grateful for all of the ups and downs and constant changes of life. But just like you, they still shake up my world a little bit. So some of the topics that I feel like I'm going to dive into today, you can tell by the title of the episode. If this resonated with you, I'm sure you're probably going through similar life changes and switches and shifts as I am. But a lot of what we'll talk about in today's episode is all around self-worth, trusting the universe, not forcing anything, just going with the flow of changes, and just trusting that when there is a shift in your life or a change or things don't seem like they're really working out, you feel like you're forcing them a little bit, just know that something better is on its way. And even as I sit here and say it, I'm almost like convincing myself that that is true. But I know deep down that when things kind of fall apart or situations and people kind of self-select out, it's only making room for something better. And I have lots to talk about on that. Before I jump into it, if you haven't already, please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening in Spotify today, you can just click the 5-star rating, and that helps this podcast get seen by many more people. And if you're in Apple, you can do the exact same thing. And you can also leave some thoughts on the show. The best way to support as well is if you are loving today's episode, make sure to share it with a friend or share it on your Instagram stories so more people can listen to it. Okay. Well, with that being said, let's start getting into some of the life updates and some of the lessons that I've been going through over the past couple of months. So I guess my last solo episode was a big one. I talked about going through a breakup, moving out on my own, or I guess getting my own condo in Toronto, but I've definitely lived on my own before, but my first time living alone in Toronto, which I felt like was a big deal. And then talking about all the things I want in 2022. And while a lot of that is still true and a lot of those themes are still showing up in my life, it's crazy what even 2 months can change in your life again. So I'm going to try to do a solo episode probably once a month because I find I like talking to you guys. This is cathartic for me. And I love just chatting about everything I'm going through. This is free therapy, in my opinion. And yeah, a lot of people call it talk therapy. And yeah, I find this helps me kind of get all my thoughts together and just get it out there. And it feels like you almost release it when you start saying it out loud. So over the past couple months, I've really gotten into numerology. And you'll hear a little bit more of that in next week's episode as well. But I've gotten really into what people are calling personal years. So essentially, what you do is you take your month and the day of when you're born and then add it together with the year that we're in. So basically, April 4, 24. So 4 plus 24. My birthday is April 24th. And then plus the numbers of the year. So 2022. So when you add up all of those numbers, the number that I get is 7. And a friend of mine told me all of this about personal years and whatnot. And essentially, I'm in personal year 7. And basically, the themes of personal year 7 is all around spirituality and looking within and just kind of like sorting out some stuff within yourself. And my God, I swear when the clock struck 12 of this year, that has been my theme nonstop. And since my last solo episode, that theme continued. And I'm definitely kind of going through a time in my life where I'm definitely doing a lot more inner work and deeper inner work and sorting out some past kind of insecurities and maybe shame and like self-worth issues. And what's interesting is I'm finding while going through that the universe is testing me so, so, so much. And I think it's mostly to do with the universe just saying, hey, like, if you're doing this work, we're going to give you another test. So let's see if you're actually learning anything or doing anything different, or are you going to change these patterns and break these behaviors? And yeah, it's I swear there's a new one every week. This past couple of months has been a little bit of a roller coaster. It doesn't look like that on the outside, but a lot of turmoil on the inside, to say the least. So it's interesting going into the second year of my real estate career. I've been, I guess, trying to manifest a lot of things, just calling in a lot of things, setting a lot of intentions of how I want my business to look, the types of people I want to work with, and just kind of like what I deem success in this business and career. And one of the biggest things I've been calling in is being very specific about the type of people I want to work with. And for me, that is people similar like me. I want to be able to work with people who value their time, value efficiency, and value other people's expertise. And for me, when I find I work with that type of client, it's a smooth process. It's enjoyable, it's smooth. It makes me realize my career is very fun. The relationship building aspect of me and my client is just very seamless. Now, it's funny, I've been calling in that type of client, and I find the universe keeps giving me clients that are the opposite of that. And where I'm going with this is I feel like life or the universe or whatever you want to call it, God, whatever, is almost like, okay, you're putting your foot down in the ground and saying that this is the type of client you want to work with. Prove that to us. So we're going to give you a client or a type of person that really doesn't align with what you want. And let's see if you'll still take this client on. And there have been a couple of clients in the last few months that definitely have kind of crossed some boundaries and are not aligned with who I want to work with at all. And I still worked with them. And I should have trusted my gut intuition from the beginning, because my gut was telling me, this is not the client for you. Like, give them to someone else, let them figure out another agent. Like, this is only going to end up poorly. But me, I'm also money hungry. I'm ambitious. I want to help people. So I continued working with that client, and it only blew up my face towards the end. And I wish I just trusted that gut intuition from the beginning. And even back in December as well, I kept coming across clients who were just fucking rude to me. Like, to say the least, like, so, so, so rude. And I can put up with a lot if people try to cross boundaries, or people are ignorant or rude or aggressive. Like, I'm the type of person that's extremely empathetic and can always see their side of view and can understand where they're coming from and where their emotions are coming from. But there becomes a line where sometimes people are just rude, like rude in general. And I mean, I'm no angel. I've been rude to many customer service people, many service workers, and I regret all of them. But I don't know, some people are just not meant to work with me. And anyway, so I had a couple clients recently that, yeah, were just so hard to deal with, so hard to work with. And it just became such a not, the process just became very not fun. And to me, I always want a career where I'm having a lot of fun all the time. Of course, it's still hard work. Of course, you still had to be ambitious and still like work towards it. But I'm a big believer that I think it can be fun while all that's happening as well. So I see what the universe is doing, and it's testing whether or not I'm going to hold my ground and put down the boundary and stay true to my word of the type of client I work with, because I trust that if I say no to these types of clients, that will open up an avenue for the clients that I actually want to work with to come in. Because if I'm totally busy and totally booked with clients that I really don't want to be working with, then I don't really have any capacity or room to be working with the clients I do want to work with. You can use this analogy in any part of your life, in dating, in friendships. If you're allowing people to hold up space where you would rather be filling that with someone or something else, then yeah, you have to clean out that space in order to allow what you really want to come in. So, finishing off that note on the client, it's interesting working in real estate. my services for either a buyer or a renter, it's a free service. And I need to keep reminding myself of that moving forward, that if anyone is going to be rude or mean or hard to work with, this is my business. I have the option to say, I don't want to work with you. And not having a scarcity mindset of worrying that, are there going to be other clients? Is there going to be other business? But just putting my foot down and saying, hey, I don't think we work well together. I would love to hand you off to someone else, or I would love to recommend you another agent that might be a better fit. And I did that recently. As of this recording, I did that yesterday. And the client that I was working with, he was just extremely passive aggressive. Everything that was out of my control, he always thought I was at fault for it. And in today's real estate market, there's a lot of things that are out of everyone's control. And I can only navigate it and set expectations as much as I can. And there has to be some give and take between a client and an agent. And there has to be a lot more compassion and understanding as well. And I found that that client just, he already had his mind made up that I was not working in his best interest. And I don't think I was ever going to change that, because every message back from him was super passive aggressive, super rude. And for me, I realized over the weekend, as I was seeing his messages come in, I was just thinking, I don't have to deal with this. Like, this is my business. No one's forcing me to work with this guy. I don't have to work with him. And I ended up finding him another agent to work with. He didn't say thank you or anything for the time he did work with me. He just said, okay. And that was that. And it was amazing, because the moment I sent off that email and kind of cut off the communication with him, I felt such an overwhelming sense of relief. Every bit of anxiety I had thinking about working with him was gone. And yeah, it just felt so much better. And it definitely took a lot of courage and strength to say, hey, I'm not working with you anymore. My peace and joy mean more to me than any paycheck that I'm going to get from working with you. And as of now, like, I feel really good about that. And it's interesting. I was out with a client last night who are like my ideal type of clients to work with. And it was just so easy. And they're just such a joy to work with. And I just thought to myself, like, this is what my career should be. Like, I have one life. This is the career I've chosen for the time being, for a while. And I deserve to have joy in this career every single day, even during some tough times. Like, I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And I just thought, after I was done working with that client last night and I came home, I just thought, wow, like, this is what I get to do for work. Like, this is my career. This is so fun. And that's how I want to feel at the end of the day whenever I work with a client. And I hope this gives you motivation that whatever you're dealing with career-wise, you can walk away. And I say that very flippantly. I understand that everyone has their own situation where maybe they can't walk away. Maybe there's probably a lot more factors to it, but you still have the choice of, do I want to stand for any of this anymore? Do I want to put up with this? And you need to decide where is that boundary? Where is that line that you decide, no, this is not serving me anymore? And when do you walk away? And for me, yeah, I decided to walk away from that client. I've actually tried to drop multiple clients before. I'm getting a little bit more aggressive about it. And I just envision a future for me career-wise that I'm only working with clients that are a dream to work with. And there's so much business in real estate to go around. There's so much business for everyone to go around. It's not scarcity mindset at all. And I just firmly believe, and I will be moving forward in my business, only working with people I'm excited to work with. And you've heard it here. So learning how to say no to business and clients and potential money opportunities has been a little hard for me. But if I'm going to make a stake and a claim saying this is the type of client I want to work with, and these are the type of clients I refuse to work with, I need to stay true to my word and hold myself accountable that once that client comes up again, I can easily just walk away and say, hey, I don't think I'm a right fit for you, and be okay with that decision. I feel a lot better now. It feels like a sense of relief now that I'm not working with him anymore. But I just trust that me saying no to that type of client and that situation it's going to allow the universe to hand me all the joy clients that I do want to work with. While I am on the topic of career and real estate, another thing that's been coming up for me a lot is just resiliency. My career is a sales job when you boil it down. And I was listening to a podcast this morning of another real estate agent, and she said, we wake up every single morning unemployed, and we have to go find out how to be employed again. And oh my God, that resonated with me so much because it's true. When you work in a commission based sales job, you wake up every month, every day, every year with a clean slate where your income is back down to zero. And it can be absolutely exhausting sometimes, but the upside of that is it can be so exhilarating and thrilling, and the potential is limitless. So for me, that's what fuels me every single day. But I'm realizing a lot more lately that, wow, you really have to have some serious discipline and resiliency in this business. You have to be okay with rejection, and you have to be okay with people saying no. And I remember I worked in network marketing a little bit before real estate, which I feel like really set the foundational skills for me in this business. We were always taught and we always learned that no doesn't mean no forever. It just means not right now. And until they put a firm no, never, there's still a door a little bit open in terms of them maybe wanting your services. So for me lately, one thing I've been working on in my business a lot is creating systems around discipline and goals. And not to say I never ever had that before, but being extremely systematic in how many calls am I making? How many times do I follow up with someone? And having a lot of different types of emails set up that when do you finally discard a lead? So even though I've done sales jobs before, and like I said, I've done network marketing before, it's interesting the skill levels that you need to have in order to be successful in this business. And it really comes down to habits and accountability, and consistency is a big, big, big one. You're never going to succeed in anything, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, whether anything. You getting fit and becoming a great runner is not going to happen from running a marathon today. It's going to, and then never again. It's going to be, let's run 2 miles today. Let's run 3 miles tomorrow. Let's work our way up, and the consistency. Let's keep just run every single day. So for me, waking up every single morning and knowing that, hey, nothing's going to happen unless I make it happen. People aren't just going to automatically fall into my lap, maybe in a few years, of course, but I need to continuously be waking up every single morning and putting myself out there and calling people and following up and being that person that's top of mind when they think about a real estate agent or real estate in Toronto. And that doesn't happen if I'm sitting around waiting for business to come to me. So I'm realizing, like I said, the mission of the podcast is all around resiliency and be able to handle kind of the waves of life and business and love and career and everything. And it's just fun for me to sit back and reflect and realize that a lot of what I preach and a lot of what I talk about, I'm experiencing firsthand right now. The resiliency, the consistency, the rejection, the just trusting that it's going to work out, but also putting work and effort and fire into every single day. Yeah, I think deep down it will all work itself out, but that doesn't come from a lack of effort. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I keep working and working and working and working, and what is it all for? Just know that if deep down you are thinking that this is something that you want to do long term, then consistency is going to be your biggest key factor. For me in real estate, I am playing the serious long game. I sound like Gary Vaynerchuk right now, but it's true. If you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, he always talks about playing the long game. It's not just putting one viral video out today. It's putting consistent video or consistent content or just doing something consistent every single day in order for you to see the success. And what I mean by playing the long game, it's knowing that if you treat someone, like my business in particular, if I treat a client well today, that's going to pay off years down the road. But I can't just treat a client good today thinking that it's going to pay off a week from now. It's going to pay off a while from now. And if I keep doing that consistently, making sure I treat everyone well, making sure I do the deal correctly, that's going to snowball into a lot of referrals down the line and a really solid foundational business. So, all to say, I've been, I don't want to say struggling, but it's more just like it's a lot of effort and consistency and energy to be constantly waking up, just putting in work every single day and not knowing if it's going to pan out, but just trusting that it will. And that's something that I'm going through lately. And I'm sure a lot of people are. But if you are deep down knowing that this is right for you, then I would say keep showing up every single day and don't do it for anyone else but yourself, and keep putting in that effort every single day because it will pay off in the end. Changing gears a little bit, but also not really, because the themes and the lessons are all still kind of the same, which is funny. I always say love and money are always very interconnected. So if you're having some tests and challenges come up in career, you're also probably having similar tests and challenges come up in love and relationships. And that being said, yes, I am. If you listen to the last solo episode, you'll know I recently went through a breakup in December, which is all fine. But being back in the dating world, it's been fun. It's been interesting. And I'm finding that a lot of past behaviors and patterns that I'm not proud of in myself are coming up again. And I think a lot to do with that is when you're in a more committed relationship, like a long-term relationship, you know each other a lot better. You feel safe, you feel comfortable. There's already that trust and loyalty built up. So not as many challenges come up because you're not questioning whether someone's in it or not, or you're not questioning where people stand. You don't have all these expectations and pressures anymore. It's just a little bit easier, I think, when you're already kind of deep into a relationship with someone. And so where I'm going with that is I've realized while dating over the past couple months that I have so many unhealed wounds and I guess insecurities from years and years and years ago that I've recognized that are definitely not healed. Definitely not. And reflecting on some of my reactions and challenges that have come up lately and how I've reacted to things and the behaviors that I'm seeing in myself, it reminds me of a couple of relationships that I had throughout university where similar scenarios went down and I had similar reactions. But I mean, that was what, 6, 7 years ago. And I'm sitting here watching the same patterns and behaviors play out. And I'm not proud of it, like at all. You always think some kind of wounds are healed, or you're like, oh my God, okay, I sorted that part of myself out. I understand myself there. And then all of a sudden, a similar scenario or situation or challenge comes up and you react the exact same way that you used to. And you realize that, oh my God, okay, I have not cleaned up that part of me. I have not processed or healed that. And all to say, that is the shit that I've been going through in the past couple months. And I could look at it two ways. I could look at it as, wow, fuck Jenelle, like you're reacting this way, you're behaving this way, and you're really sabotaging a lot of what could be or could have been. That's one way to look at it. But the other side of it, it's like, okay, yes, it's coming up again because obviously it's not healed. Obviously, there's some inner deeper work that you need to figure out. And if it's not going to come up today, it's going to come up later. So in my opinion, the sooner the better, I guess. It sucks when you feel that it can ruin things or put a bad taste in people's mouth based on what your behavior was or what your reaction was. But I don't know. I just have this view of it, of thinking, okay, I'm glad these scenarios and these people brought this up in me because this has given me the opportunity to really, really, really sort shit out and figure out, why am I reacting that way? Why am I jealous of that? Why am I insecure there? Why am I taking that personally? And it's almost like a blessing in disguise where you just got to be able to feel grateful for that person or that situation, that it's essentially being that mirror reflection of you realizing, like I said, a mirror reflection of you realizing like, oh shit, okay, I have to go sort stuff out in me. It's nothing of what that other person or that scenario is doing. This is me projecting. This is me seeing aspects of myself that I'm not happy with and reacting to it. And I need to take ownership for that. It's nothing to do with the other person. So I've been dealing with that a lot lately. And I mean, I could get more specific, but I think even getting more specific is not even helpful because it you can't take it and relate to your own situations. But for me, some of the stuff that has gone down in the last couple of months, it's easy for me to have regrets, but I truly do not. I always say people are brought into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I truly believe that some people can be all three. They can start out for a reason, they can become a season, or if things pan out the way life wants them to, I think they can be in your life for a lifetime as well. And I know some of the people in my life that have taught me the greatest lessons or made me kind of reflect on who I am and look deeper. Those are some of the people that I'm the most grateful for that I've crossed paths with in my life. And I find for me lately, I'm just not allowing myself to get caught up in the minor bumps in the road. Again, same as my career, I'm playing the long game. I'm realizing that obviously there's still some stuff on my side of the road that I need to clean up, but that doesn't mean I need to be a completely healed person in order to be in a great relationship. I don't believe that at all. And if you do, I think you should really reflect on why you think that. You do not have to be a perfect person in order to date someone or find love. You can be your messy, beautiful self and be able to grow with someone through those things. And I think if someone is meant to be a partner in your life at this time, I think they will want to be around for when you're going through that growth. I think you deserve to be able to be your messy parts and also your best parts around them. But I will say everyone has their boundaries, and there also is a lot of things that might cross people's boundaries and them saying, hey, your actions have really hurt me and I just kind of need a time out from this, or I need to like really get my head back in the game and really think this through. I don't think that's someone rejecting you forever. I think that's someone that is dealing with their own stuff that they need to sort out. And I think you need to honor and respect that as well. And that's what I've been doing with people in my life. I'm not getting too caught up in when people need a bit of a time out or need some space to kind of think through things themselves. People react to situations all different ways. Some people want that deeper connection to know that everything's okay. And some people just want to kind of avoid everything and sort it out themselves. And you have to create space for both ways of people dealing with issues. And not all of us are going to deal with it the exact same way. I find that my love life lately is definitely, again, testing me at all limits. It's showing me where I need to still clean things up, where I have some deeper inner work to do. And it's also kind of, I feel like the universe is testing where I'm going to draw the line of my self worth. I find there's such a fine line between giving to someone and caring for someone, but also not giving too much of yourself. So, one lesson that I'm actively trying to learn lately is how to put myself first in a relationship. I'm so good at putting myself first in like friends and family and business, but I find sometimes when I really care about someone romantically, I find that I can give a little bit more of myself than my energy or my self-worth would normally allow. And I don't know, maybe I have a bit of a hopeless romantic side to me. I don't know, maybe I should explore that. But I'm learning to try to stay true to my word and trusting that, and this is so cliche, but trusting that what's meant for you will find you, and what's not meant for you, let them self select out. And in saying that, and as a caveat to that, I would also say that I find as I get older, there's a lot more gray to romantic relationships. I think in my early to mid 20s, everything was very black and white to me in terms of, hey, if we break up or if there's a fight or you treat me badly, like that's it. Like that is it. That's done. Cutting you in my life, it's done. But I find even over the past year, like I'm learning that we're all just so human. Like I've had so many like ebbs and flows in my friendships over the past year or so. I've seen so many ebbs and flows in my dating life and whatnot. And I just think trusting that people can mess up, people can make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that they can't still be in your life. And I find maybe that's a maturity thing or as we're getting older, but yeah, there's a lot more gray to the situation. And as long as it's not toxic, I don't do any of that like on and off crap or anything like that. I think it's clear when someone wants to be in your life or not, and like let them make that clear to you and see it for what it is. But also it's like if someone generally treated you well and maybe it's not the right fit at all or maybe at this time, I just don't think it's worth cutting someone out of your life forever. It's just like I don't see any benefit of that at all. Now that being said, this is just my experience lately. This podcast and these solo episodes are for me to just kind of let you know what's going on lately. But I don't know. For me, romantic relationships are a little bit more gray lately, and I'm just learning a lot and just learning that let people show you who they are, stop forcing things, let things flow naturally. And again, playing the long game. Life is very long. So if there's a bump in the road today, that doesn't mean that something could pan out in the future or things can't get better, or maybe this is just a test to see like how will you handle this test today, or how will you handle this situation or challenge today, and learn the things that you need to learn so that if there's someone in the future that is put in your life and you go through the exact same scenario or challenge, the outcome will be a lot different and your maturity and the lessons that you learned previously will serve that future situation. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm in a season right now of my life where, like I said, you can talk about the numerology personal years, but I'm in a season where I'm like, oh, okay, I need to really look within a little bit more, do some deeper inner work, figure out who I am, what I want, what I will and will not allow, and just trust that whatever I put out there and whatever I want will find its way to me. And I just need to trust the flow of that. And again, I always get a little woo woo on here, but that's kind of my vibe in general. But I have this deeper inner confidence that everything that you are looking for and want will find its way to you. I have that confidence within me. I'm not seeing life as black and white anymore. I'm seeing the beauty in the gray and the beauty in the flow and the beauty in the unknown. And even though that kills my logical, rational, analytical side of me, I'm leaning into more the emotional flow and maybe the feminine side of me. And I'm going to play in that area for a bit. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also doing this really cool course lately called Shadow Work that's helping me kind of figure out why am I being triggered by this? Where are these triggers stemming from? Where are these insecurities stemming from? Where are these reactions and behavior coming from? And kind of understanding the root cause of it all so that when I'm given scenarios or situations where I would normally react, trying not to react or understanding and kind of laughing at like my potential reactions. So if you're interested in those types of courses or whatnot, feel free to message me and I can send you kind of what I'm doing. But I'm already seeing a lot of difference in myself and just being more aware and almost having like outer body experiences instead of being so in the moment of the scenario or the challenge or the situation. So yeah, I'm sure I'll have more updates within a month, but I will say I'm trusting that, like the theme of this episode, rejection or redirection. It's all in how you frame it. If someone's saying no to you, if someone's saying not now, if someone's saying, hey, you're not the match for me, is it really rejection or is it really just putting you on a different path of something that's actually meant for you and is actually better for you? So if you reframe it in your mind, you'll take it a lot less personally. You'll be a lot less hurt by it. Your ego will be a lot less bruised by it. So for me, I'm definitely framing both career and love in that mindset moving forward, not taking rejection or changes or shifts personally anymore. I'm realizing that they're happening for a reason and it's actually going to open me up to something or point me in the direction of something that's better aligned with me and what I'm asking for, anyways. To finish this off on a high and positive note, regardless of everything that's happening in the world, I am not turning a blind eye to that at all. Quite the opposite, actually. I'm very aware of what's going on and my heart hurts every single day. But I will say that two things can exist at the same time. Your heart and your soul and just how you see the world could be very hurt right now based on everything that's happening in Ukraine and Russia and just like the war that's happening. And you could feel a lot of sympathy and empathy and compassion and hurt and feel all those emotions, but you can also feel very grateful or excited or happy about anything that's happening in your life. You can have both of those realities happening at the same time. And I find lately even though I've been going through kind of this like inner turmoil myself and kind of figuring out where the universe is putting me, I have been so eternally grateful for so many things in my life. First of all, spring is absolutely coming here in Toronto. There's been a lot more sunny days and warmer days lately, and I am so, so, so happy. I'm excited for the spring and the summer and just things opening here in Toronto. I'm so, so, so pumped for that. I'm a big patio girl and I love the outdoors. So I'm excited. Other things I'm super grateful for lately are my condo finally coming together. I have pretty much all the furniture that I need. I definitely took my time figuring out what I wanted and ordering it and putting it together, but it's really coming together and it's really starting to feel like a home. And I just feel such a joy and comfort and gratefulness that it's all coming together and it's all mine. So materialistic, but I'm so happy about it. And one other thing that I'm loving lately is my building amenities open. So I have some sweet, sweet amenities. And lately, I definitely feel like I've been living in a spa hotel and I'm relishing in it every single night. And yeah, it's just making me realize that like no matter what happens throughout the day, through my career, through friendships, through life, through love, anything, I'm finding so many other ways to enjoy some self-care. And it's just making me realize that everything will be okay and just helping me distress at the end of the night. So, just a few things that I'm super grateful for. If there's anything in this episode that you want me to dive deeper in, please let me know. I feel like I talked a little high level, but yeah, without like getting too into the details of other people's lives, it's not as fair. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I hope that some of this resonated with you. And just know that again, no matter what you're going through, other people are going through it as well. Just because they don't post it all over Instagram or do a podcast on it doesn't mean that you are alone in how you feel or what you're going through. So that's the update for me. Hopefully, I'll be doing another one of these in a month, and maybe you will be able to see the change or hear the change in everything that I've been going through lately. Thank you so much for listening to today. If you felt value in this episode, please share it along with your friends and tune into the next week. Okay, have a great day.